Nature tends to reward the flexible. Earth's most successful life forms are generalists, creatures that survive by adapting to eat almost anything in almost any environment. The flowering plant family known as orchids took the exact opposite route. They are extreme specialists, tightly customized to very specific habitats, yet they maintain a massive global footprint, boasting an astounding 25,000 distinct species. You will find these plants clinging to life across wildly different extremes, from the dense canopies of tropical rainforests to the freezing, wind-whipped hills of subantarctic islands. They bypassed standard biological flexibility entirely. To conquer the globe, orchids relied on a calculated evolutionary spree of lying, cheating, and stealing. Customizing yourself to a single hyper-specific habitat is usually an evolutionary death sentence the moment the climate shifts. Orchids bypassed that vulnerability, weaponizing their strange behaviors to become the most diverse plant family on the planet. To understand how they pull this off, we have to look closely at the forest floor. This is where the orchids commit their first major offense: fungi fraud. When a typical flowering plant drops a seed, it sends that seed off with a packed lunch, a dense supply of nutrients to keep the seedling growing until it can photosynthesize on its own. Orchid seeds pack absolutely nothing. Instead, their microscopic seedlings actively hoodwink local soil-dwelling fungi into feeding them. Several species are so deeply committed to this lifelong grift that they have entirely lost the biological hardware required to produce their own sugar. Then there is their approach to reproduction. Most flowers pay a heavy biological tax, churning out sweet nectar to bribe the insects that transfer their pollen. Orchids prefer to catfish. Take the Australian hammer orchid. It looks and smells exactly like a flightless female wasp. When a male flies in and tries to carry her off to mate, he catapults violently upwards into the flower's sex organs, picking up a sticky packet of pollen by force. By outsourcing their basic survival needs, robbing fungi for food and tricking insects for reproduction, orchids conserve vast amounts of energy. They then pour that hoarded energy entirely into bizarre, hyper-specialized physical adaptations. That brings us to their third offense: aggressively squatting in the cheapest real estate available. Setting down roots in a patch of rich, fertile soil means engaging in a constant, exhausting battle with other plants for sunlight and soil nutrients. Most orchids completely bypass the competition by settling in intensely inhospitable locations. You'll find them clinging to bare bedrock, high up in the branches of trees, or deep inside soggy, nutrient-poor bogs. Mooching off fungi, catfishing insect pollinators, and squatting in barren real estate. By completely refusing to compete in normal environments, orchids isolated themselves in tiny, highly specific microclimates. That intense geographical isolation is the biological trigger that sparked their evolutionary explosion, fracturing the family tree into 25,000 completely distinct, customized variations. Their bizarre evolutionary path gave them an exotic, alien beauty, and that striking appearance ultimately caught the attention of a highly susceptible mark: human beings. During the 19th century phenomenon known as orchid delirium, wealthy English aristocrats funded private orchid hunters to scour the tropics. These hunters would sometimes literally torch or raze entire forests behind them, purely to ensure no one else could access their rare finds. Today, international law strictly bans the collection or trade of wild orchids. Yet tens of thousands of these flowers are still trafficked on the black market each year, with rare individual specimens commanding prices in the tens of thousands of dollars. But poaching pales in comparison to the existential threat of mass deforestation. Because each species is perfectly customized to live in only one particular place, clearing even a small swath of land can wipe out their entire specialized microhabitat. This has forced a complete reversal of our relationship with the plant. Humanity now expends staggering amounts of wealth, time, and physical security to protect these botanical con artists. In Ecuador, which boasts some of the highest densities of the plant in the world, conservationists have established entirely separate rainforest reserves just to keep the long-petaled Dracula orchids alive. In Australia, citizens physically build fences to defend threatened spider orchids from grazing kangaroos. Meanwhile, scientists in the United States spend countless hours painstakingly breeding rare cigar orchids in isolated labs just to replant them into their native South Florida bogs. The orchids successfully pulled off an even larger grift. By weaponizing their own highly specialized beauty, they successfully recruited humanity to serve as their dedicated, globally funded bodyguards.